All right, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this live presentation. We're going to do a real quick rundown on what's going on in the tropics. Of course, we've got Marco and we've got Laura out there. We're going to be watching both of them very closely as we go through the next few days. It looks like Marco is going to be taking a little bit of a more northerly track, which is great because once it gets over land, that means it'll weaken even more. So we're hoping that as it does come into parts of southeast Texas, that it's going to be very weak and we don't have to worry about it too much going into, it looks like maybe Wednesday into, or Tuesday into Wednesday. But here it is on satellite right now, and as you look at satellite, Marco doesn't look like much. It's actually being sheared apart, and all the storms are being pushed off towards the north and east of the center of Marco. So we're not seeing too much around the center, so that's good news as well. That shear is going to keep it pretty weak as it comes into parts of southeast Texas. So we'll continue to kind of watch it. But let me take a real quick look up here. The center of circulation itself is actually well down here. So all this stuff is being sheared off towards the north and east. So all the thunderstorms and everything with it as it kind of works its way towards southeast Louisiana. And then down here, of course, is Laura, which is still messing with Cuba. So until it gets away from Cuba, the track on it's a little iffy. But once it gets out in the Gulf of Mexico, I think they're going to have it pinned down. Matter of fact, I think the track's getting pretty close to where it might be as we head into, looks like late Wednesday into Thursday. Speaking of tracks, let's look at the track on Tropical Storm Marco. As the 10 o'clock update, you notice it's now forecasted to be inland and moving across northeast Texas, it looks like, or southeast Texas, as we head towards Tuesday night into early on Wednesday. They have winds at 35 miles per hour, but since it's going to be over land, I wouldn't be surprised if it's weaker than that as it moves in, just an area of low pressure kind of moving across the area. It's going to give us some scattered showers, but not looking at a lot of rain out of this, not looking at a lot of rain or wind out of this storm system as it moves across southeast Texas going into Tuesday night there. Right now winds are at 50 miles an hour and it's moving to the north-northwest at about 8. So it's going to be moving into southeast Louisiana here by late this afternoon, this evening, and then tracking across southern Louisiana inland. So that's great news as far as the track goes there. Looking at the computer models on Marco, once it comes inland, then they go crazy and they go all over the place. So just kind of take that with a grain of salt. Computer models, now that it's almost onshore, they're going to be going crazy, so we probably won't look at those too much more. Tropical Storm Laura, like I said, still kind of messing with Cuba down here. As of 10 o'clock, winds are at 60 miles an hour, moving to the west-northwest at 20. Here's the track. It takes it out into the Gulf of Mexico on Tuesday early morning, and then it tracks it up into the Gulf, and we're just offshore of Cameron Parish Wednesday night at 7 o'clock with winds at 105 miles an hour. That's a Category 2 hurricane. And then as we head into Wednesday evening, early on Thursday, probably looking at maybe between 8 and midnight or so right now, it's going to be coming on shore in parts of Cameron Parish. Now this track, it might be just slightly more to the east than we saw at the 7 o'clock update this morning, which is good news because we want it to stay east of us. We want to be on the west side of this storm. The west side is usually the little bit better side as far as the weather. When you get on to the east side, you're looking at stronger thunderstorms, heavier rains, stronger winds, and a lot more storm surge than you would see on the west side. So we're still going to get rain, and we're still going to get some winds. We could maybe even see hurricane force winds here in southeast Texas, but we definitely won't see the worst side of the storm if it stays on this current track. So we're hoping that track kind of holds true. And you notice the cone going from, say, Lafayette over to Houston has gotten smaller. So they're starting to narrow down that area where they're thinking it might eventually make landfall. I don't see any big adjustments in this track as we go into Wednesday, into Thursday. I don't think it's going to jump all the way over to New Orleans or they're going to jump all the way down to Corpus Christi. I think that time has passed. I think right now it looks like southeast Texas, southwest Louisiana is going to be probably the region it's going to go to. But I know adjustment of 100 miles could be big deal for one location. If it goes another 100 miles to the east, that means we probably won't see any type of hurricane force winds. We'll get a lot less rain. If it comes 50 miles back towards us, once again, we could see maybe some stronger winds and maybe some heavier rain. So it's going to be fine adjustments, I think, as we go through the next 2 or 3 days before it finally makes landfall. But I think the area where it's going to make landfall is starting to get narrowed down now. Once it gets out into the Gulf, I think the forecast will get even tighter than we're seeing now. Good news is, look at this. Once it comes on shore, look at that. By Friday morning, it'll already be in northern Arkansas. By Saturday, it'll be up into the Carolinas. So it is not going to stick around. It's going to come through and race through here and be gone. So as far as flooding range, we might see some localized flooding, but it's going to go through so quick. I don't think the rains are going to add up that much. So I think the big problem might just be the winds that we get and knocking out some power around the area. We could see some trees down and some power outages, and that could be probably the biggest problem with this storm as it slides into the area. So we'll be watching for that. Once again, winds are going to be Category 2. Category 2 goes from 96 to 110 miles per hour. Some computer models still trying to push it up to a Category 3, which would be 111 and maybe a little bit more than that. Right now we'll have to wait and see. And then also you have to know how far those winds extend out from the center of the storm. If it's 60 miles away and the hurricane force winds only extend out 30 miles from the center, then of course that's good news for us. So we're going to have to wait and see on that, exactly how developed the storm system is when it starts to come in. Here are the computer models, and for sure the majority of the computer models take it right up into parts of southwest Louisiana. There's a few that take it off towards the west, and then there's a few that take it off towards the east. But the consensus right now is definitely southwest Louisiana. So that's east of us, so that's some good news. All right, probability of winds of 39 miles per hour or higher. Now this first part here, you're seeing Marco come in, and right now probabilities are very low, about 10% that we would see winds 39 miles or higher with that. So that's not going to happen. We might see wind gusts up to 30, but we're not going to see tropical storm force winds with Marco. Now as we get into Wednesday morning, things still don't look like they're going to be too windy, but look what happens as we head into Wednesday evening. Here comes the wind, especially across parts of southern Louisiana. By the early morning hours on Thursday, we could see tropical storm force winds, which are winds 39 miles or higher, through parts of Jasper, Newton County, Orange County, and back into Jefferson County. There's a good 60% chance of us seeing that. So that's, I think, probably might be the problem that we're going to run into. The biggest problem is maybe some of these winds coming into the area, and even a good 40 or 50% chance of some gusts over 39, 40 miles per hour back into parts of Tyler County, Hardin County, and Jefferson County. And then watch what happens as we head towards the late morning hours into the afternoon on Thursday. Those winds quickly retreat up towards the north as the storm quickly moves to the north. So it's really going to be probably a 12 to 16 hour period where we see some of these heavier winds, and then they're out of here. They're not going to be sticking around. By Thursday evening, most of the winds are going to be running out of here, and I think we'll be looking a lot better. Now let's take a look at the probability of hurricane force winds, or winds are at 74 miles per hour or higher. And you notice that once again, as we head towards those early morning hours on Thursday, there's a low chance, but there is a chance of seeing wind gusts up over 74 miles per hour as the storm comes in. And once again, it's all depending on the track and how close it comes to southeast Texas and how far out they extend from the center. So I think, like I said, winds might be the big problem with this, especially when we're looking at winds between 40 and 70 miles per hour. That's plenty enough wind to knock down some trees, knock out some power. So we're going to be watching closely for that. So let's kind of go back over everything right now as far as timing. Tuesday into Wednesday, Marco comes over southeast Texas. Expect some scattered showers, maybe some gusty winds between 20 and 30, but we see that with a general thunderstorm, so we can handle that. And then Wednesday evening into Thursday morning, that's when Laura comes through, and that's when we can see tropical storm force winds coming in on Wednesday and sticking around into the first part of the day on Thursday. So something we're going to be watching out for. Once again, as far as rainfall, on the current track, all the heavy rain's really going to be over in the southwest Louisiana, where we're looking at 10 inches or more, 7 to 10 inches or more. On this, it looks like our rainfall over here could be anywhere from maybe 2 inches up to 7 inches. Once again, 50 miles will make all the difference with whether we're going to see a little bit more or a little bit less. But I think the rain is going to come down hard, but it's going to last a short period of time. we're talking about 10 to 16 hours, kind of off and on. So I don't think it's going to add up to a whole lot. I don't think we're going to see widespread flooding. Yeah, we could catch a couple places, maybe pick up a quick 4 or 5 inches of rain where we could see some localized flooding. But as far as making it a Harvey or something like that, that's not going to happen with this storm. It's going to move out very quickly. It's going to be just maybe a day that we're going to see off and on rains. Could be heavy at times, and then this thing will get out of here. Once again, I think the big problem with this storm, depending on how close it gets to us, is going to be the winds. 7-day forecast takes us into today, which is a low chance of rain. A little bit better chance of scattered showers as Marco kind of passes by on Tuesday, and then we'll see the high rain chances, especially late Wednesday into Thursday as Laura comes through the area. That'll help bring our temperatures down a little bit. By Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we still have rain in the forecast, but that's going to be moisture coming in off the Gulf of Mexico, kind of on the trailing behind this system. That's not going to be the winds and everything that we see as the system pushes through the area, but still some wet weather, but it's going to be scattered stuff towards the end of the week. Just wanted to do a real quick update. That's what we're looking at right now with the storm systems. And Patrick will be updating this, of course, later on this evening and letting you know what the latest computer models are showing, what the latest track is from the National Hurricane Center. Like I said, good news is that Marco is going to be tracking inland now, it looks like. At least that's what they're thinking, and that's great news. That's going to weaken it quite a bit more, and hopefully we won't even see wind gusts as high as they're thinking as we head towards tomorrow evening. And then once again, we showed you Laura. I'll pull that back up real quick here. That looks like it's going to be tracking off towards our east, coming in sometime around maybe Wednesday late evening, early Thursday morning. Category 2 hurricane. Right now they have it well east of us, well, a little bit east of us into Cameron Parish and up through southwest Louisiana as a Category 2 hurricane until it moves inland a little bit and then back to a 1 by Thursday morning. So that's the latest here from the Storm Tracker Center, the latest from the National Hurricane Center. I'll have more coming up here in about 15 minutes on the NBC KJAC at noon. We'll give you these details once again. Be safe, everybody. We'll be doing lots more updates on social media as we go through the next few days. Of course, we'll be tracking it very closely and keep you updated on all the information that we can get in here. Have a great day.